Hey everybody, this is Nick up in Conifer, Colorado again. We're gonna be doing Meyer Ranch again. Like the previous video, it's the same trail, but I'm actually gonna do a different loop to kind of give you some insight on what the second loop is like. Meyer Ranch is off of 285 up in Conifer. Previous video gave insight on what it was like to do the lodgepole loop, which was roughly about 3 miles. I think I completed that in give or take 45 minutes. Today we're going to do sunny Aspen, which is a little bit higher, and I'm thinking it's about 10 to 15 minutes longer. If I remember correctly, it's a little bit harder, but not much. And then I'll do one last video of the old ski run trail that I have not done yet. And that'll be another day, of course. So just like the previous video, I always recommend taking a screenshot with your cell phone, or picture, if you will, with your cell phone of the trail before you go hiking. I don't know if I mentioned in the previous video, I once went hiking up in Morrison and thought all trails were a loop, and 12 miles later, or whatever it was, I found a road and realized how far away I was from my car. So yeah, needless to say, not all trails are a loop. Learn from my mistakes, and yeah, that's about it. So on my videos, what I really want to do is just kind of give people some insight of different trails to go for in Colorado, mainly from a duration of time as well as difficulty. And the time right now is 3:40 p.m. and I'm thinking this trail is about an hour long, and give people also some insight of, you know, some of the advantages and disadvantages to the trail. Just like the lodge pole loop that's up here in Meyer Ranch, it's pretty much the same, except, like I said, I think it's a little bit longer and a little bit harder. But for the most part, the location is definitely key at this trail. Definitely a great location. It's convenient. It's like 20 minutes away from Denver, Colorado, off of 285 up here in Conifer. I'm sure you can hear the traffic on 285, which I pointed out is one of the disadvantages to this trail. If you didn't watch the previous video, one of the things that I talked about that's always important having is a backpack full of goodies. I've got water for me and the dog, granola bars. I've got a compass just in case you need that, a whistle just in case you come across I need to use it, whether it's wildlife or rescue measures or whatever. Got a knife, waterproof matches, if you will. Got a few other little things in it, but it's always good to be, you know, somewhat prepared, or prepared, if you will, because you never know what might happen. So I believe I'm about halfway through on this trail. This is where Sunny Aspen Trail and Old Ski Run Trail meet. I made it all the way up here without having to stop once. I'm a little bit winded, but not too bad. So far, I think it's roughly about 3.5 miles, maybe 4 miles tops, on the Sunny Aspen Trail. Like I said, I still haven't done Old Ski Run Trail, and I think that's an additional mile and a half, give or take, So that's kind of where we're at. So you see it? So the dog is a little bit excited because she just saw a squirrel. One of the things is about the squirrels out here is you have your standard, I guess, brown squirrel. I'm no expert by any means. But then you also have black squirrels up here. And that's something when I used to live in Denver, I never came across those. So that's a little something about the wildlife out here. On this particular trail, I know there's a lot of bears out here because I live just a couple miles away from it. And the only bears that would traditionally be out here would be black bears. To my knowledge, they're not the most aggressive bear, but if you put yourself in a bad situation, that could be a different story. Stay away from the cubs, as well as don't get close to the bear, of course. The other wildlife that's out here, and there's a lot of them, is deer. There's a lot of different deer out here. I'm not the most knowledgeable of different species of deer. I could care less, but there's definitely deer out here. In the last year that I've lived up here in Conifer, I've seen a total of 2 moose. The moose out here, I'm under the impression they're small because that's all I've seen, and they're definitely not very common out here, but they could be out here. We do have definitely mountain lions, bobcats, whatever you want to call them, as well as lynx, as well as what's the other one? There's some other kind of cat that is out here. You don't have to worry about those too much. In the year that I've lived up here, I've never seen one. I'm sure they've seen me, but I've never seen one. And for the most part, the only time I've ever seen them was on like Facebook, like a neighbor showing the wildlife, you know, walking across their patio or something like that. And I don't know if we have skunks out here, but we definitely have raccoon out here, and elk. Elk is kind of rare out here, and the reason why I say kind of is we do see them, but it's also kind of rare. But they're definitely an evergreen, which is, I would say, 15 to 20-minute drive away from here, and there's a lot of elk up there. So especially during mating season, avoid those. You don't want to have an antler or a horn or whatever you want to call it go right into you. I'm sure that wouldn't be a enjoyable experience, but that's also part of the reason why I give this trail like a 2 out of 5 on the scenery. Is it doesn't have any ponds, lakes, or rivers or anything that tracks wildlife. You don't really see much out here. And as far as the difficulty, I'm pretty convinced on a scale of 1 to 5 the difficulty of this trail is also a 2. I'm right now descending down the mountain. The hardest part was, of course, going up, and it wasn't very steep. I mean, there was a few spots that it was steep for, say, 50 yards, but that's about it. Okay, we are approaching the end of the trail, back where we started, where the map is. Overall, like I said, on a scale of 1 to 5, this would be a 2 on difficulty as well as scenery. The time right now, as far as how long it took, it is 4:38. So I think I left right at 3:40. So it was literally 1 hour. So it's, I'd say, 10 to 15 minutes longer to do sunny Aspen over the Lodgepole Loop. So I would estimate that the Lodgepole Loop is roughly 2.8 miles and sunny Aspen might be 3.1. I mean, it's not a huge difference at all. Granted, the map shows me right there, but I don't feel like doing the math. But that's pretty much it. And I want to say thank you for taking the time to watch this YouTube video. Take care.